Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is the boss here with another video for you guys for today. Today, guys, we're going to be doing yet another game review, and I'm actually pretty excited to do this one, as the game that I'm going to be reviewing, while it's not a game that I played early on in my childhood, it's a game that I've been playing for several years now, and it's a game that, it's one of my favorite games, period. Yes, today, guys, we are going to be reviewing Crash Bandicoot Warped on the PS1. Yes, one of the original games, you know, Crash Bandicoot, the original unofficial PlayStation mascot. Those games are some of the best games from the classic era, and they still hold up today with the remake of the Insane Trilogy, and various other aspects of the game make it a beloved classic. But before we get into the review for today, guys, I just want to let you know, if you guys missed the Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase PS1 review, that was one of the first games I've ever personally played that got me into gaming. If you guys want to go check that out for the previous review, I'll leave a link to that in the description down below if you guys wish to go and see that. But with all that in mind, guys, let us get straight into the review. So, guys, let's start with the first aspect of the game I want to discuss, which is the story. Now, the story, while admittedly I love, there's not really too much for me to review on this. It's a simple Crash story. Crash, his sister Coco, and the magical mask Aku Aku go to stop Dr. Neo Cortex and Aku's evil twin brother Uka Uka from destroying the world and gathering crystals and gems to destroy said world by using a machine called the Time Twister, invented by another new character introduced in the series. The Time Twister machine was invented by the notorious Dr. Entropy, who is now introduced in the game in this game, and they basically have to stop the two bad guys from collecting these crystals and gems to take over the world. Of course, spoiler alert, they defeat the bad guys, and they end up trapped in a time vortex turned into babies, which is a pretty satisfying ending. But, yeah, guys, so the story, as far as that goes, I think it's a really classic story, really fits the game well. I like the fact, too, that when they came up with the whole time travel story idea, using this machine to go to different time periods for the classic Crash formula, but they also incorporated not the time travel theme with the story, which is really good. And the story just perfectly fits with the aesthetic of the game, and I think it just fits in well with the amazing gameplay and visuals that this game has to offer. So the story gets a big thumbs up from me. Now, the next part that I want to talk about is definitely the gameplay / visuals. First off, this game looks absolutely magnificent. Does it compare to today's graphics, especially considering the Insane Trilogy? Not really, but for the classic PlayStation era and the fact that this game is aged well like a fine wine, it's absolutely incredible. The visuals with the lava and the dinosaur levels going off is just gleaming off of the screen is amazing. The water waves and the Caribbean levels when you're playing as Coco on the jet ski looks so realistic, especially by the PS1 rendering standards. The in-depth detail that went into every intricate level in this game, like the weather changing patterns and like the different medieval levels that you go through as Crash. The weather effects, like with the rain in the third level that you go through for the medieval section, is so realistic. It's great. Even by PS1 standards, these graphics are beautiful and amazing. I have nothing negative to say about these as well, because they are just amazing, not just by Crash standards, but by classic gaming standards and on the PS1. And you also had the double jump and, you know, a couple other things returned from Crash 2. But Crash 3 introduced so much more that is absolutely great. We got the double jump, we have the tornado spin, which is basically a kind of infinite tornado spin that Crash does for a short amount of time. The bazooka that they introduced is really great. Unlimited ammo, which is Wumpa Fruit, but very highly destructive. Really nice power-up for getting all those boxes and getting that 100% for the, getting those additional gems and whatnot to 100% the game. It's just absolutely satisfying, the power-ups and whatnot that they added into this game. And the fact that they have another secret hidden warp room, like after you complete like the first part of the story, you beat the bad guys the first time, then you have to 100% it in order to basically beat them the second time and get the actual ending of the game, which is the part where they get trapped in the time vortex and you stop them. The fact that they added in such intricate detail with like the power-ups and like a lot of the other side stuff that's different than the other games, really incredible. Now for this last section, guys, I actually wanted to, I have a little bit of criticism for this, but it's nothing major or huge. There's a ton of variety in these levels. The controls work really, really well with Crash. He controls beautifully, actually. He controls a little, I don't want to say lanky, but he does. He controls a little clunkily in the underwater levels. I really do enjoy them. They're really beautiful. They're really great idea for the game. But the controls are a little slow, and they do get a little stiff, especially when, you know, you move fast in one direction, then you have to recover and move another way. it is kind of slow, and especially when you're navigating yourself around explosives and sharks and everything else in those levels, so that's a little annoying. The other thing that I wanted to critique, like, I have nothing else to say about the controls other than, like, a couple mini critiques because they're that good. The other things that I really didn't like about the controls were the motorcycle levels. Now, the motorcycle controls amazingly. Once you get the hang of it, it's great. But when you're doing the time trials, they suck. I'm sorry. They kind of... I shouldn't say they suck. They're all right, but they're not as good as what they could have been, because whenever you accelerate the motorcycle and when you're going wide turns on the road, Crash will go off into a ditch, he'll go off to the side, he'll run into enemies. The turn ratio is not the greatest when you're accelerating, especially when you're trying to get to the end of the level in a certain amount of time. It can get pretty annoying, and that's something I wish they would have tweaked a bit, but it's nothing major. You know, you can still do it. But overall, guys, controls, amazing. That's going to do it for today's review, guys. I really enjoyed this game. I don't know if you guys can tell. There are a couple of little control issues that I had with it on certain levels and parts, but that is nothing in comparison to all the amazing things about this game. So taking into consideration the graphics, the story, the characters, the making of the game, the controls, everything factored in, I'm going to give this game a 10 out of 10, and even with those little criticisms that I had about the controls, that does not hinder the gameplay at all, except in a couple of minor instances, and you can still accomplish what you want to do with the relics and, you know, the gems and whatnot. And this game is a classic, one of my favorite games, and it is, for the most part, flawless. It is amazing, and I can see why it's a beloved PlayStation classic, so I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. But hopefully you guys did enjoy today's review. If you did enjoy it, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new with that bell notification to catch future videos and live streams that we do here on the channel if you wish, and comment down below what you guys thought of today's review and what you guys think of Crash Warped if you have played it. With all that in mind, though, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, bosses.